The Skywind team took part in the C3 Community Creations Con, which was held on Feb 2nd, 2024. We do have a full stream video which I will link in the description for those interested. This month's update will showcase sections from that stream as well as insight from the developers and some of my opinions. The team also showcased the living god, the one and only Lord Vivec, for the very first time. So stick around till the end. They showcase Seyda Neen in all its modern glory. We have Foreign Gilneth showing the anti-imperial sentiment in the town with his mutterings. We all know Foreign Gilneth is a key character in one of the great Morrowind quests that starts at Seyda Neen. We then see the legendary Fargoth with blonde hair who says he's very busy. We then enter Aril's trade house. I love this animation showing how busy Aril is. He's after all a rich trader in Seyda Neen and he's a busy businessman. I love that special animation. I wonder if that'll be the only animation we see whenever we enter Aril's trade house, or we'll have more. We also see Hriskar Flatfoot. Of course, Hriskar is the Imperial officer who was shaking down Fargoth for money. In Morrowind, he was on the first floor of Aril's shop. Interesting to see him down here. The team also said that they're going to have French, German, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian and Japanese translations. The language will be English, but subtitles will be in the selected language. We then walk past Seyda Neen road signs, and then the team showcased Skywind's armor system. They have more armor slots than Skyrim. There are two different pauldrons that are separate from the cuirass, two different gauntlets on the left and right side. Skywind also has greaves which were in Oblivion. They then enter the starter dungeon Addamasarthus and showcase some combat. This is the place you go to test your skills in Morrowind, and it's the same in Skywind. You also free some slaves, just like in Morrowind. We then walked on the road near Seyda Neen. The Bitter Coast atmosphere is insanely well done. It's a cloudy day, you see some fog. The way the rays of light filter through the fog is spectacular. I just love the atmosphere of Bitter Coast in Seyda Neen. They then walk on the road to Pelagiad, absolutely loving the mushroom trees and the waterfalls on the exterior of the Ancestral tombs. We also see signs with two languages, English and Dunmeris. We then enter the town of Pelagiad and the team showcases some Imperial posters which are in English. The town of Pelagiad and all the Imperial towns have a medieval fantasy aesthetic. This really shows the contrast between Imperial towns and Dunmer towns. The team also showed the special screen which comes up to show the class, attributes and skills. They've also added perks during leveling up. The team says that the skills and leveling system is a combination of systems used in Skyrim, Morrowind and Oblivion. The team also gave an update on landscaping work. A great deal of the open world is finished. The last few areas left are the Gracelands, the Red Mountain region and the Ashlands. They've also finished working on the ancient stronghold design which houses those propylon chambers. Fort Moonmoth's exterior is very interesting. It looks different compared to Morrowind. There seems to be a corridor which seems to have a water well and posters with propaganda for the Imperial cult. You enter Fort Moonmoth and the first thing you observe is how beautiful the lighting is. Everything is nice and clean and orderly. I love that. It really tells me that the Imperial forts appear to be more welcoming in Skyrim. There are paintings on the wall which highlight the differences in Imperial culture compared to the Dunmer, who express art in a different way. Every Imperial fort will have classical paintings that highlight Imperial culture. As we walk towards Balmora, we start seeing the architectural influence of House Lalu. We also find the Sill Strider, which looks great. Also notice a guard with a spear. That looks super cool. We then get a view of the main square of Balmora. You have those outdoor stalls which are shops, those cute lamps, the giant mural on the building which I assume is part of the Mages Guild. We also notice those waterfalls on the hills which are really pretty. The view of Balmora from the hilltop is fantastic. Oh my goodness, Balmora is so beautiful. We can clearly see the Skywind team has focused on the small things which really adds to the artistic beauty of the town. There are no followers in Skywind apart from scripted quest followers. The writing team said that they decided it was important to give a feeling of being an Outlander, which was an isolated experience. The Dharma people keep calling you, the player, as an Outlander, so they wanted to retain the vanilla Morrowind feel. Even though companions are awesome in other test games, the team thinks that it is significant that Skywind does not have followers. We then arrive at the swamp fever capital of the world, Gnaar Mok, on the bitter coast. The dense, swampy jungle atmosphere is very interesting. I love the lamps on those cute bridges and the red flowers on the water. Gnaar Mok has a solitary Lalu manor and the shacks where the commoners live, which is similar to how it was in Morrowind. We also show how you need to speak to an NPC to ask about clues for an active quest. In this case, we speak to an NPC to get the location of a pair of breeding netch. This is classic Morrowind at its finest. No dumb map markers like in Oblivion and Skyrim that take you directly to your objective. I'm super happy that the Skywind team has retained the Morrowind spirit regarding quests. The devs also revealed that Skywind has something known as a purist mode, where there are no map markers and there's no compass to guide you. All quest logs have detailed guidelines which will guide you towards the solution. They then showcase some combat with some magic spells and two-handed weapons, which really look cool. As we approach the town of Ald'ruhn, we get a chance to listen to the frightening sound of the active volcano, Red Mountain.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Red Mountain.
God, that's so loud.
It will. It's just, at the moment, it's still, in development and testing, but...
Yeah, it'll do it naturally.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
Really scary. We also see how the blight appears in Skywind. I love the red sky, it's absolutely amazing. One observation about the blight is that the NPCs don't cover their faces like in Morrowind. We also observe how the architecture of Ald'ruhn is completely different to what we saw in Balmora, as this is a House Redoran town. Outside Ald'ruhn, we get to see an example of how you can fail a quest. Remember how this was not so common in Skyrim? We approach a lady who needs an escort to the Ghost Gate. You refuse and the quest fails. I love that. This Daedric ruin, man, every time I watch this it gives me the chills. The atmosphere is frightening with dark corridors, foggy interiors, and everything feels disorienting. Then, there are traps and out of nowhere, NPCs can appear in your face as we see here.
So he's a wizard with this set.
Okay, this is gonna be just as... Oh my god!
What are you doing? Get out! Intruder!
All of this gives you a horror feel. If you stay for long, you see NPCs getting angry at you, which results in combat, which can be challenging in these dark corridors. As you run away, you don't want to enter strange rooms, as that might lead you to an encounter with a strange creature.
Thing. Oh! Okay, I'm not going that way.
The devs did say that most Daedric ruins will have a horror-ish vibe with scary sound effects and wonderful use of lighting. Man, if every Daedric ruin is like this, we are all in for a treat. I absolutely want Daedric ruins to be an unwelcome and uninviting place. There should be some trepidation every time you enter one. As we approach Telvanni and admire the Telvanni architecture, the interiors, the lighting and the wonderful art, let's listen to Argyle, who is the writing co-lead of Skywind. he talks about the Telvanni mage lords and Telvanni society.
So the Dark Elves, they all have different cultures depending on where they're from. And so this island, a lot of different of those cultures have moved in here. So the Telvanni are typically a society of independent mage lords who grow their own towers from mushrooms and magic. So they make these huge towers, and then if people want to come live in it, they can make like a contract basically to provide services. So it's a very might makes right society. The Telvanni are famous amongst Morrowind players just because basically if you're strong enough to do something, it's legal. So if you can kill someone, if you don't get caught or the guards can't stop you, it's legal because they were obviously too weak to survive.
Did you guys observe the interiors of Balmora while Argyle was speaking? It's mind-boggling, the creativity and the small details inside every building. Argyle is so knowledgeable on Elder Scrolls lore and Morrowind, and he articulates his ideas so well. We take a look at Ancestral tomes for the first time. The lighting is again on point, although everything appears orderly and less rundown compared to how Ancestral tomes were in Morrowind. I don't see any spiderwebs, which is interesting. We then get a first look at an Ancestral ghost, which looks really cool. I love its combat and death animations too. Also, take a look at the art on the walls. Absolutely beautiful. This is an example of how the Dunmeris people showcase their history by creating wall art in Ancestral tomes. Then we face a Bonewalker warlock, which shoots ice bolts at you. Finally, we meet another Ancestral ghost who has a ranged magic spell, which is really cool. And as we leave the tome, the devs say that to play Skywind, you will need the original copies of Skyrim and Morrowind, which makes sense. As we approach the Arethan's son Ashlander camp, let's listen to Argyle, the writing co-lead, who talks about how the Ashlanders speak their own language called Dunmeris to the player.
So basically, Skywind is using a recreation of Dunmeris, the Dark Elf language. So in these more rural areas that don't intersect with the Empire, you're going to get a lot more indigenous language. Our voice actors worked really hard to bring it to life, as well as our writing department. So it really feels like you are out away from the Empire.
Man, Ashlanders speaking in Dunmeris, that is genius from the Skywind team. All of these small details will surely add to the immersion when exploring the world. My mind is blown. We also get to look at the quest journal. I like how quests are organized here. You have the main quest, side quests, faction quests, all grouped nicely. Really neat. The devs did say that there's a lot of flavor text in quest logs. The idea is definitely in purist mode. You can read the quest logs, speak to NPCs and solve quests without quest markers. Are you ready to meet the one and only Lord Vivec? This, my friends, is a global world premiere by the Skywind team. Here we go.
I love the people of Morrowind. I became a god to make their lives more comfortable and secure. I am most close to my faithful followers. I am literally in their hearts and minds. I feel the most sympathy with House Redoran. They are Dunmer driven by creeds and deeds like I am. House Induril is closer to the compassion and sympathy of Almalexia, a comfortable and secure serenity. House Telvanni matches the disposition of my brother Sothasil, iconoclastic, profane, unconventional. House Lalu represents the future of the Dunmer, integrated into the sophisticated mainstream of the traditionless, raceless, godless culture of the Empire. And I even love the Ashlanders for their preservation of the most ancient, barbarian tribal traditions of the Dunmer who first settled Morrowind.
That's about it, guys, for this month's Skywind update. Did you enjoy that? I have no words to express the creative work being done by the Skywind team. They are my favorite Skyrim modding team, and I shall see you again next month for another update. May Vivec, Almalexia and Sothasil watch over you.